Hi everyone, this is Jason Cappuccino of Sashes&Scripts and welcome back to my channel.
So, today's video is a continuation of last week's video regarding the battle between the newbies and the pageant veterans for the Miss Universe Philippines title. In the last episode, we were able to talk about the newbies of the Miss Universe Philippines competition. And ngayon, tapos na ang announcement ng top 30 and we all know who made it into the list. It's about time na ang pag-usapan naman natin ngayon ang mga veterana ng nakasali ngayon sa Miss Universe Philippines na pageant. And a lot of our pageant fans have been asking us, sino yung mga veterana na sa tingin ko magbibigay ng malaking marka dito sa competition na sa taong ito, at sino yung mga sa tingin ko na may potential na maaaring manalo sa international na competition. And just like our video ng nakaraan about the newbies, pag-uusapan din natin 5 mga veterana ng Miss Universe Philippines competition na sa tingin ko kinakailangan nating abangan. First on the list, we have Katrina Dimaranan, who is Binibining Pilipinas Tourism 2012 and was Miss Supranational USA and Miss Supranational first runner-up. She is 5'9". She speaks, with a very deep, beautiful, voice that speaks very calmly and has a very good timbre in her voice. Ang nakikita ko maganda, ang nagagandahan ako sa kanya specifically is yung napaka-Pinay niyang beauty. And she has this very beautiful golden brown skin na pantay mula ulo hanggang paa, and she has also one of the more proportionate bodies in the competition, standing at 5'9". And naman sa pageants, height is might. Hindi natin rin maikaila na with her experience at the nationals and the international na competitions, pwedeng niyang dalhin yung mga napag-aralan niya sa mga competition na yon at dadalhin ngayon sa Miss Universe na stage. But that doesn't mean that hindi rin siya, nawala siyang flaws. Meron din siyang mga areas na kinakailangan niyang pagtuunan ng pansin at tignan kung meron ba siyang magawa para maayos ito. And I think one of the things that needs to be worked on is her marketability and her commerciality. Granted that she has a very beautiful Filipina, beauty, the thing that I see in her is that yung gandang Pinay niya is very palatable to foreigners, but not necessarily to the local Filipino market. And doon tayo magkakaroon ng konting issue dahil despite having beautiful features, gorgeous features, hindi ito yung tipo na nagwo-work sa local market. And in the Philippines that we tend to navigate towards more Caucasian faces, more mestiza faces when it comes to pageants, and even when it comes as well to beauty products, to commercial models, to artista. And we always have that preference over the more morena beauties for the more mestiza beauties. I'm not saying na kinakailangan niyang bauhin yung kaanyo-anya. What I'm just saying is work on the commercial, on the marketability factor para mas magmukha siyang palatable to a wider audience. Kasi nagkaroon din naman tayo ng mga representatives na very Pinay. Ang ganda. One of them is Ariela Arida, who is now remarkable name in the entertainment industry. So kinakailangan mahanap ni Katrina yung maayos at magandang styling so that it will cater to a wider scope of people, of audience. Of course, hindi rin mawawala sa listahan natin si Leren Mae Bautista. Like Katrina, she is another very Filipina na beauty, and she's also a alum of the Binibining Pilipinas pageant, being the 2019 Binibining Pilipinas Globe. And she also competed at Miss Globe, where she ended up as second runner-up. Okay, with the comparison between Katrina and Leren is that I find Leren's face a little bit more commercial, a little bit more palatable to a wider audience as compared to that of Katrina's. And I also think that Leren has the face that can be appreciated by both, the international competitions, by both foreigners and by local fans of the pageant. And I think that is a unique strength, that is a unique selling point for Leren. And another thing that we can expect for Leren to bring into the table is a strong pageant experience, a strong pageant background. She was a Mutyanang Pilipinas winner, she is a Binibining Pilipinas winner, and now she's angling for her third national title. And with that kind of, pedigree, with that kind of experience, asahan mong there will be something that Leren will bring into her past experiences into the table. Leren is also, one of the more styled well candidates in the pageant, and we owe that to her stylist, Vico, and his partner. And we also understand that with Leren, hindi tayo mapapahiya when it comes to skill set, because Leren has one of the more smooth and more polished presentations and pasarela. Isa pang major na bentahe din ni Leren is yung the fact that merong makinarya behind her that helps her and supports her throughout the pageant journey. However, there is also a need for Leren to address, one very crucial thing, one very major thing, and that is in her, in her participations, in the years of her participations, with the Miss Universe Philippines being her third national pageant, ang mga fans ngayon maghahanap ng something na bago na mailalatag ni Leren sa table. And that is something that she should be thinking of at this point in time, where at the top 30, mas magiging mahigpit ang laban, mas magiging duguan ang laban. And she needs to bring something new on the table, because you cannot rely on past victories, on past laurels, to win your third. And the third one is undoubtedly one of the most difficult, competitions here, because lahat ng mga makakalaban niya, hindi lang veterana, kundi may mga newbies din na involved. And with all of the personalities na kasali ngayon, makikita mo na there is much competitiveness in the batch, and kinakailangan makipagsabayan siya doon. So she needs to bring something new, something different, something that has, or rather something that we have not seen her yet bring into the table, because hindi pwedeng it's the same old, it's the same old putahe ang ibibigay niya sa atin, because other candidates are giving, a lot more newness, a lot more intrigue into who they are. So Leren needs to think of what are the aspects of her personality or for her life or her story that she needs to bring more into the table, to bring it front and center into her pageant competition. Okay, so before we continue with this video, let me remind you to subscribe to my channel and hit the notifications bell for more pageant-related content. Of course, hindi rin mawawala sa listahan natin si Binibining Cebu 2020 Beatrice Luigi Gomez. What I like about her is that she is facially pretty, and then she also has the height, and she speaks well. In the course of the entire, top 100 down to the cutting to the top 30, si Beatrice ang isa sa mga pinakakaabangan ko in the competition, because I know na meron siyang maibibigay na bago doon sa competition, being a member, a strong advocate of the LGBTQI community, and that is because she is a member of the community. So in terms of what she can bring into the table, I am hoping that she gives more perspective on LGBTQ issues that haven't been put into the table itself. And ang nais ko na mangyari is that she brings how it is different for her as a pageant queen, and how being a member of the LGBTQ community brings or makapagbigay siya ng perspektibo on pageantry from the LGBTQ community. The thing about Beatrice as well is that she is one of the more facially pretty girls, and nakikita ko sa kanya yung mukha ni Maggie Wilson, who was Binibining Pilipinas World. The only thing that I think that she needs to work on is to leave a longer lasting na impression, because sa ganda niyang yon, nakukulangan ako in terms of engagement from her fan base, and she needs to have a strong fan base as she goes on to compete into the finals. Because sa ngayon, if you are a candidate na mahina or kokonti ang fan base mo, you might get overshadowed by other candidates na mas malaki ang fan base, na mas maingay sa social media, because that, I think, is one of the things that Beatrice needs to bring forth into the table para mas mabigyan siya ng spotlight, para mas mabigyan siya ng mas malaking spotlight in the competition. Because right now, I don't understand, or rather, hindi ko tagpi yung kaganda niyang babae pero napakahina ng kanyang fan base. And I think kung magawa niya ito ng paraan, mas lalakas yung chances niya, mas lalakas yung ingay surrounding her, and then people will start thinking her as one of the more serious contenders into the competition. I have also included in the list former Mutya ng Pilipinas winner Janela Joy Cuaton. Isa rin ito sa mga veterana na sumali sa mga previous competition, having had experience competing in Miss World Philippines sometime around 2016 or 2017. Isa siya din sa mga naging kabatch ni Leren when they both competed in Mutya ng Pilipinas. So, it's kind of a reunion of sorts to see Leren and Janela compete again in Miss Universe Philippines this year. It is alarming that despite being gorgeous, having really very voluptuous body, and ang height din niya, hindi rin mo rin ma-ignore because she stands 5'8". Janela has been under the radar in the entire competition. Like she has primarily flown as one of the more underrated candidates in the competition. And I don't understand that, because she already had the pedigree, the experience at the national and international level. At one point, nakalaban din niya si Miss Universe Thailand in Miss Metropolitan International competition, if I'm not mistaken. And I think she's one of those girls na yung mukha transformer, na nata-transform. Pwede mo pang i-transform, pwede mo pang pagandahin, pwede mo pang ayusin based on the different stylings na ibibigay mo sa kanya. And looking at her photos, she always looks and appears on point. Makikita mo yung vulnerability sa mukha niya when she emotes. Makikita mo yung expression sa mukha niya, and the way that she is able to convey personality and emotion in her photographs. So I don't have any issue on the ganda na part, on the physicality na part. My only thing is paano siya napag-iiwanan in terms of her fan base. And I think that's one of the things na kinakailangan din niyang ayusin, because as we all know, we need a strong fan base if you want people to pay attention to you. And it is one of those things na hindi ko maintindihan under Janela, because she has the pageant experience, but then again there is a need to work the fan base to make them stronger in their campaign. Because sa ngayon, a lot of the girls, may kanya-kanya silang mga fan base who are advocating for their own bets. I think Janela would benefit if there is a strong fan base rallying behind her. Last on the list, we have Steffi Aberasturi. She is, from my perspective, she is the flag bearer of the pageant veterans. Kumbaga, siya ang nangunguna sa charge when it comes to the battle between the newbies versus the pageant veterans. And she's perhaps one of the most anticipated na mga candidates na sasali sa Miss Universe Philippines since around 3-4 years back. She has a very strong pageant resume. Naging reyna na rin siya ng Aliwan, naging binibining Cebu na rin siya in 2019. She stands 5'8", and she is probably, one of the most, or rather, she is probably the best overall candidate I've seen so far. Maganda yung mukha, maganda yung proportions ng katawan, matangkad, and she has that presence na nagja-jump off kahit na sa litrato pa lang. I also see in her, a mixture of, Stephanie Hanson, Ann Curtis, and Catriona Gray in her face. So that in itself, alam mong magandang-maganda talaga itong dilag na ito. And Cebu never disappoints when it comes to bringing strong candidates into the national competitions. Magmula kay Stephanie Hanson, Stephanie Hanson, to Rogelie Katakutan, to Eva Patalinhug, to Gazini Ganados. Hindi tayo nadidisappoint sa mga Cebuanan na lumalaban sa national competitions, and they always are prepared, they are articulate, they're smart, they bring something fresh into the competition, and hindi ito naiiba with Steffi. I think that if you put all together the experiences that she had competing at the local and regional level, Steffi has one of the best na overall campaigns because alam niya kung kailan siya kukubra at paano siya kukubra ng pasabog. She's not the type of candidate na magpapasabog lang just for the sake of it. She always has, very strategic na mga releases in her social media, and that is something na makikita mong pinag-isipan at pinagplanuhan. And ito yung kinakailangan natin na pagtuunan ng pansin when we now start thinking of competitions at the international level. One of the things, however, that I want to point out sa campaign niya is that yung isa sa mga weakness niya is that she doesn't come from the preferred na pageant camps. And I think this is something that, kahit na sabihin nating hindi makakaapekto sa kompetisyon, hindi rin natin maiaalis na maging dahilan siya ng pagpupull back ng support sa kanya, or pwede niyang ikatalo. I hope that very fair, maging patas ang kompetisyon para sa kanya, because in all the challenges, nakikita ko na nagtatrabaho at binibigay niya ng bonggang-bongga kung ano yung kaya niyang maibigay sa bawat aspeto ng kompetisyon. And I am hoping that she is judged by her merits and not by her camp affiliation or her political affiliation. Because if we remove all of these, all of these barriers sa kanya, sa pwede niyang pagkapanalo, I am confident na kaya niyang dalhin ang bandera ng Pilipinas nang hindi tayo mapapahiya at the international competition. She has a very commercial face, hindi natin maikakailayan. She also has, a very Miss Universe presence in her. And when it comes to ganda, hindi tayo mapapahuli. When it comes to communication skills, hindi tayo mapapahiya. And I think, we need to factor that in, that we need to find a candidate who is more likely to do well in the international competition at this point if we only have, 2 to 3 months of preparations for the Miss Universe pageant later in Israel. At this point, the real competition has now begun because at the top 30 na candidates, ito na yung official 30 candidates na maglalaban-laban for the finals. Dito na mag-uumpisa ang mga girls na maglalabasan ng kanilang mga campaign materials, and dito na sila mag-uunahan for the top position. And it doesn't matter if you're a pageant newbie or a pageant veteran, you need to start or you need to campaign as hard as hell because ngayon labanan na ng totoong kompetisyon ang mangyayari. And there is an aspect where the girls should not be holding back, should not be second guessing themselves, because they need to be strategic and use every tool that they have to their advantage. At this point, equal na ang level playing field between the newbies and the pageant veterans, and we hope that it stays that way para makita natin na kung sino yung mananalo. Siya dapat yung tipong matibay na candidate. Let them fight it out at an equal, equal and level playing field, so that we select the best candidate based on merit and based on personal achievement and performance. With that being said, we have covered everything that we wanted to cover and say regarding this topic. And please stay tuned for more pageant-related videos here on our channel. And please subscribe and hit the notifications bell once again. And bye. So see you soon in the next video.